Sonos and Alexa have really had a troubled relationship. Up until the tail end of 2017, they weren't actually talking to each other at all. You could either talk to Alexa using the natural voice interface to get your music playing, albeit on really substandard, bad-sounding hardware, or you could act like a Neanderthal and use the Sonos controller software to pick some music, but play it through some really fantastic sounding speakers. And of course, the multi-room audio capabilities of Sonos were and still are unrivaled. It was only last month that Alexa even gained that ability too. Then along came the Sonos One, the love child of Alexa and Sonos. A Sonos speaker based around the Play One design, but with Alexa capabilities built in. Hi, I'm James Bruce, you're watching MakeUseOf.com reviews, and today we're taking a look at why the Sonos One is the best Sonos and probably the best Echo device yet. So at the most basic level, we have Alexa built into the speaker now. It has the same sort of far-field microphone technology and the same features that you would expect from any Echo device. At launch last year, support was a little bit shaky and there were a lot of bugs, but now you have access to the full range of Alexa features. Things like morning briefing, playing music from Spotify, everything you'd expect from Alexa. It works in the same way in that whichever speaker you are closest to is the one which will respond. Now, the only real difference I found with the Sonos One Alexa's capabilities is that the wake word detection is incredibly fast. However, the actual response from Amazon is a little bit slower. It takes about twice as long to get a response back, maybe 1 to 2 seconds. Now, if you're used to a normal Echo device, this is probably going to throw you a bit. It does sometimes feel to me like it's broken, and then I'll try to repeat the request, only to have it then send the original response back. But if this is going to be your first Echo device, you really won't notice a difference. It still seems pretty quick, considering that your audio is being sent halfway across the world, figuring out a response and then having that response coming back. Alexa, turn on master bedroom fairy lights.
Okay.
Other than that, the responsiveness of the microphone feels the same as a standard Echo. The only difference is that it's got a fantastic Sonos speaker, so it sounds a lot better. The response that you get back, the voice quality, sounds a lot better on this than it does a standard Echo. Alexa, play my morning briefing.
Here's your flash briefing. In headlines from BBC News.
A controversial appointment to the new university regulator, the Office for...
Another quirk or slight limitation to be aware of is that unlike the Echo devices, the Sonos does not support Bluetooth. And that's because Sonos is fundamentally designed a different way. If you do want sort of generic audio input capabilities, then you need to buy either the Sonos Connect, which is literally just a box that gives you a line-in connection, really not worth it in my opinion, or you need to get the highest end of the Sonos range, which is the Sonos Play 5. I have one up here. Whoop, just here. And that gives you a standard line in addition to being a massive, fantastic speaker. That's about $500. Now, both that or the Sonos Connect will then give you a line-in source to use via the Sonos controller app. So unlike the Echo, you can't just send a Bluetooth signal in. It doesn't work like that. Now, in most situations, I don't think that's going to be a problem. The most common use of Bluetooth, of course, being to either play podcasts or music or whatever. But it might be a problem in specific situations. Say you use your laptop in the kitchen and you like to use your Echo as an external audio device just for whatever you're playing on the laptop. That isn't going to work anymore. But in all other ways, the features are really essentially the same as an Echo. The one other difference is that around the rear of the Sonos One, you have an Ethernet port. So rather than Wi-Fi, you can plug it right in over Ethernet if you want. Now, there's no specific benefit to doing that really, but the option's there if you don't have Wi-Fi or if you want to keep your Wi-Fi uncongested. Now, although Sonos is at its core a multi-room audio system, and the Amazon Echo line recently gained multi-room audio capabilities too, you can't mix and match the two systems together. You can play audio to some or all of your Echo speakers. You can play audio to some or all of your Sonos speakers, but you can't play the same audio to some of your Sonos and some of your Echo. It doesn't work like that. And there's no everything broadcast capability to just send audio out to every single connected speaker in your home. That doesn't work. And to be honest, I doubt it ever will, given some fairly fundamental ways about how the Sonos software is made and how they work. To be honest, the multi-room audio at the moment is a bit convoluted, at least when it comes to Sonos via Alexa. If you want to group them, you have to do so via the Sonos controller app, and then telling Alexa to play to any of those speakers will play to all of them in the same group. You also can't create a named group. Now, the grouping limitations are largely Sonos's fault. The ability to create named groups of speakers has been the topmost requested Sonos feature for many years now, and I haven't seen any progress on that particular one. If you want to create a group, you have to go into the controller app and just ad hoc group a bunch of speakers together. There's no way to then save that as a specific named upstairs or downstairs speakers and then use that to instruct Alexa. You can't do that. I'd like to say this feature will be added in a future update, but to be honest, I very much doubt it. So if multi-room audio is important to you, I would suggest that you keep all of your speakers on the same system, either all by Sonos speakers or stick to pure Amazon Echo devices or look at something else entirely. So in terms of audio quality, I mean, it sounds great and it's basically the same as a Sonos Play 1. So if you do have experience with the Sonos Play 1 series, you'll know exactly what this sounds like. When I played them side by side, I really couldn't notice much of a difference. It still sounds fantastic. Good bit of bass, good dynamic range. Sounds a lot better than the Echo devices, which is the main point. So, should you buy a Sonos One? Is this the one speaker for you? Well, there's one final point to consider here, which I find really intriguing. And that's that Sonos announced that they would be adding Google Assistant support for the Sonos One via a software update sometime this year in 2018. Now, it's not yet clear what form this will take, whether it will be able to respond to both wake words or whether that'll be a setting you have to change through the Sonos app so you can choose either Alexa or Google Home to be your main voice assistant. I don't think it would be too hard to have two different wake words. After all, it just has local processing for the specific wake word and then sends off your command to different cloud services. I think that's feasible, but we just don't know yet. Either way, it's this that really appeals to me because, to be honest, I'm not 100% sold on Alexa and Amazon services. I do like the idea that in a year's time, if I got bored of Alexa and had a house full of Play 1s, then I could easily switch over immediately to Google Home and everything would just work. I'm not tied down to any one specific voice assistant. So for me, that really does make the Sonos One the one speaker, the one smart assistant to rule them all. Why would you buy only Echo devices? I can't really see a valid reason to lock yourself into only Google Home or only Amazon Echo. They've even said that there will be some kind of basic Apple support, though that probably means the Sonos will become a target for whatever the Apple sound output is, rather than putting Siri on there directly. I doubt it'll get full Siri support because right now Apple seems to be really pushing their own line of high quality multi-room audio devices, and well, we know from past experience that Apple will probably want to keep its products and services completely separate from other competitors. So for a truly open system, you're better off sticking with Sonos. The only missing part of the Sonos equation right now is that they don't have a large format speaker like the Google Home Max. And I think it's quite feasible, maybe even at CES this year, that we see Sonos come out and announce voice capabilities into their larger format Play 5 system. Perhaps that'll even coincide with the announcement of Google Assistant support. Who knows? But for now, if you are considering an Amazon Echo, then I would strongly suggest perhaps considering a Sonos One instead, especially if you're thinking about getting multiple Echoes, multiple voice assistant, multiple speakers for a number of rooms, and you don't mind the fact that perhaps you have to manage multi-room audio with an app rather than through your voice, then Sonos speakers are definitely the superior sounding option. You're going to get much better quality sound from them compared to the $99 Echo devices. Now, admittedly, this is about twice the cost. For what it's worth, I think it's absolutely better to get the better quality audio, as well as the broader support that Sonos has and the addition of Google Assistant sometime this year, when you may find that Alexa isn't working out for you. So for me personally, the superior sound quality and the fact that I won't be locked into one single voice assistant system makes the Sonos One a clear winner. And speaking of winning, we are giving away a Sonos One to one lucky reader this week. Head on over to the link in the description or go straight to makeuseof.com/giveaways where you can find details of all our current giveaways and competitions. Do subscribe if you haven't already. We run about 2 competitions every week. and thank you for watching. Until next time, you've been watching MakeUseOf.com reviews.
And I think
Alexa,
a decision about his position becomes a
shush.
distraction from the overall work of that